Last week, Max Holloway opened up about how frustrated he felt being ranked #1 in the featherweight division when he's already made it clear he's never going back down to 145. He said, "I don't know what you guys are thinking keeping me #1 contender there. That's kind of ridiculous. I'm not going back down to 45. I'm over it." And now, finally, the rankings have been updated. Max Holloway has officially been removed from the featherweight rankings. Meanwhile, Eddie Alvarez weighed in on Dustin Poirier's decision to announce that his upcoming fight against Max Holloway would be his last. And honestly, Eddie didn't hold back. Talking to the Schmo, he said, "Personally, I don't like when a guy says, 'I'm done, I'm retiring,' and then still fights. I've never seen that end well. I don't love that this is the situation we're going into. I'd rather Dustin had kept quiet, gone in there, fought, and maybe said he was retiring afterwards." Then we saw Laura Sanko demonstrating to Walter Walker how she can't be heel hooked. For context, Walker's last 3 fights were all wins via heel hook.
Come on.
What's going on? What the king lost his kingdom?
Give me that trophy. Thank you.
Dominic Cruz also shared how he thinks Max Holloway can beat Dustin Poirier in this fight. He really broke it down. Speaking with ESPN, Cruz said, "Max Holloway is going to make adjustments. The biggest one, start with the hands, finish with the kicks. Because Poirier moves backward a lot. Max has crazy good kicks with real flexibility. He can use his range, that deep kick. It slides in like a jab. We've seen Max counter Poirier's headshots by going to the body. And once Poirier slides back, boom, a head kick can come." Cruz believes we'll see a smarter Max this time, pulling Poirier into the pocket, brawling with that signature Holloway accuracy. More kicks, more knees, more elbows, Cruz said. A lot more trickiness from Max Holloway this time. Then there was Chris Curtis, who wasn't happy about how his fight with Max Griffin went down in UFC Nashville. Curtis won the fight by split decision, but it clearly didn't play out the way he hoped.
And it's true, but I'll get for it. But honestly, I'm like
100% true.
I'm like, not to be mean, but like, when was the last time you saw a really cool Max Griffin fight where you were like, "Oh, that's a badass fight"? He's not that type of fighter, so like, it's really hard to have that type of fight when the other guy's just doing and you're like, all right, like, it's fine. So after we got cut early from the headbutt, and I'm just like, okay, like, this is just not gonna go. This isn't gonna be clean. I had to accept, like, it's not gonna be the fight we planned for. It's not gonna be the one. Well, we did plan for it. It is the fight we planned for. It's not the fight I wanted. It's the fight we planned for. So I'm like, okay, like, stick to the plan. Like, if you went to plan 2.0, because we figured he'd either come out to fight or he'd be jumping around being weird. And it turns out he's gonna jump around and be weird. So we planned for it, we adjusted for it, and we kind of had to switch gears. Not what I hoped for, but like it's something we expected.
Now, after the fight, they're about to announce the winner. How nervous were you, given the fact that you've gotten the wrong end of some close decisions?
Oh, but at first, when the fight was over, I was completely confident. I was like, won that, I thought pretty cleanly. And then they say split, and I'm like, oh, we're doing this again. So I was not gonna lie, man. Like, definitely had the butthole pucker a little bit. You're like, oh.
John Anik threw in his thoughts about the BMF title. He thinks Dan Hooker should be next in line to fight for it. But at the same time, he believes if Max Holloway beats Dustin Poirier this weekend, Max will likely aim for the lightweight title instead of defending the BMF belt. Talking to Submission Radio, Anik said, "Dan Hooker is the most worthy fighter across any division to fight for that BMF belt. A Max versus Hooker fight? It makes perfect sense. If Max successfully defends the belt against Poirier." But then he added something important. As much as I love the BMF title, and I really do, I think Max Holloway should be chasing undisputed world titles. I bet he'll tell me the same thing when I see him in the fighter meeting next week. So Anik thinks that depending on how Max performs style, dominance, excitement, he might not go for another BMF defense. Even though a Holloway vs Hooker BMF fight makes sense, I think Max will want the real gold. The undisputed title means way more for his legacy, and Max Holloway already has a Hall of Fame career. Carlos Prates, meanwhile, shared footage of himself training for his fight with Jeff Neal at UFC 319 coming up on August 16th. This weekend, it's Marvin Vettori versus Brendan Allen at UFC 318, and wow, Vettori did not hold back in his interview with TMZ. He said, "It's a long story, but just by looking at his face, I don't like him. Doesn't take much. This guy, he's just unlikable." Vettori went on, "There is a reason, I just don't want to say it here. It's the way he carries himself. He's a whiny little guy. This fight is not going the distance, I'll tell you that. I'm going all out. It's now or never, kill or die. I'm looking to run through him. I want to completely dismantle this guy." Michael Bisping also had strong words, especially about Dustin Poirier. He believes Poirier will be under a huge amount of pressure this weekend. Why? Because it's his final fight and it's happening in his hometown. Speaking on his YouTube channel, Bisping said, "Is the motivation still there for Dustin? The UFC is going to New Orleans for him. That's beautiful. It could be a perfect send-off for an amazing career, but let me tell you, it brings a lot of pressure." He explained how fighting at home can be hard. Friends, family, fans, they all want to see you win. You're the local hero, and I've been there, fighting in England. It was always more stressful, but I was undefeated there because I wanted to make them proud. It pushes you during training camp. Bisping says Max Holloway is also extremely motivated right now, and here's why. It's personal. Max doesn't want to lose 2 trilogies, Bisping said. He lost 3 in a row to Alexander Volkanovski. Now, if he loses again to Dustin Poirier, that's another trilogy gone. This is a big fight for Max. If he wins, he's suddenly right back in the title picture. Ilia Topuria is the champ now. He might fight Justin Gaethje, Paddy Pimblett, Arman Sarukian, someone like that. But if Max gets a big win here and follows it up with another, he'll be right in that conversation.
Both Max and Dustin are elite strikers. Bisping doesn't think we'll see much wrestling. This will be a toe-to-toe war. They'll stand and bang, it's going to be wild. And it's also likely the final time we'll ever see Dustin Poirier inside the octagon. But I don't know if he'll win, Bisping said. Never count out Dustin, but never count out Max either. Yes, Max Holloway was just knocked out by Ilia Topuria. That could be a big deal. Sometimes fighters get cracked like that and are never the same again. But maybe it lit a fire under Max. Maybe he's thinking, you know what? I'm going to show the world. I'm coming to Louisiana to put on a show. Honestly, even Bisping doesn't know how it's going to end, and neither do we. Unfortunately, today brought some bad news for UFC fans. UFC Abu Dhabi just took a big hit. Movsar Evloev versus Aaron Pico is officially off. Evloev had to pull out, apparently due to an injury or a serious health issue he suffered during training camp in Thailand. And here's what's even more frustrating. This is the 11th time in his UFC career that a fight has been cancelled. Out of those 11 cancellations, 3 were because of him pulling out, and the other 8 were because of opponents withdrawing or some kind of co-main event issue. It's a tough blow for the card, and a major disappointment for fans looking forward to that matchup. And then there's Tom Aspinall. He was asked about the BMF title and whether it really matters. His answer? Honest, direct, and a little cold. He said, "Do you want my honest opinion? I mean, it's a title, but it's not a world championship. So what are we doing?" Tom made it clear he doesn't think Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier need a title to sell this fight.
"These guys don't need a belt," he said. "They're legends of the sport. Just look at their names. Look at the rankings. Look at how many fights they've had. Look at what they wear into the octagon." He continued, "We really don't need a title on the line, to be honest." That's how Tom sees it. And you know what? It's a fair point. Max and Dustin are 2 all-time greats. They've got fan bases around the world. The respect is there. The legacy is already written. Some fans love the BMF title. Others don't care about it at all. But Tom Aspinall, he sees it as unnecessary. And that wraps up the latest fight news. Max Holloway's frustration, Dustin Poirier's last ride, big opinions from Dominic Cruz, Eddie Alvarez, Michael Bisping, Tom Aspinall, and others.
This weekend is going to be intense. Emotions are high. The stakes are real. Max is fighting not just to win, but to protect his legacy. He doesn't want to lose to the same man a third time. He's fighting to prove that knockout loss to Ilya didn't break him, that it fueled him. Dustin, he's fighting at home, in front of his people, maybe for the last time ever. That's heavy. That's pressure. That's a storybook ending waiting to happen. Or a heartbreaking one. Both men have so much to fight for. The BMF belt might be on the line, but what really matters is what's at stake for their hearts, their careers, and their legacies. Thanks for watching. Don't miss the fights. Don't miss...